Welcome back to this episode of Ribs Real Estate and Ramblings. We are coming to you from Cooper's Old Time Pit Barbecue of Aggieland, which is right off the bypass. And again, till I'm blue in the face, if you come to College Station, you got to come to Cooper's. It's fantastic barbecue. Stop by. It's owned by some fantastic people. So please stop by and grab you some Cooper barbecue. Today I am joined by one of my teammates. This is Marcy Moorhead. She's fighting Texas Aggie class of 95. She got a BBA and focused in management, right, when you were here at A&M. So she's an Aggie. She's a fellow realtor with me at the Bock Realty Group here in town. But she's not quite in town. So currently she's in Katy, Fulshire area. So she's really helped extend our footprint of Bock Realty Group. But she's coming soon. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. So she's finally coming back to Aggieland, which is always a good place for Aggies. Although Houston's not a bad place.
No, it's not.
So there's a ton of Aggies in Houston. So Marcy is incredibly special in her philanthropic involvement. We'll say that. I'm not going to say approach, involvement, because it really is. It's huge. It's a huge part of your life. But real estate is also a huge part of your life because, you know, it's your job. It's a big part of my life too. I don't just sit up here at Cooper's all day, every day and eat barbecue. I could. But I think one thing that when we ask, when I talk to realtors, and this is something that when we do Summit, like with Tom Ferry, you know, what's your why? What's your why? And I think a lot of realtors are sometimes hesitant to say, because I want to make money and because I enjoy the autonomy of the job. Right. You know, some people are like, I love the emotion of finding someone their forever home. And that's fine too. Like, and if that's somebody's motivation to be a realtor and that's the only motivation, again, whatever makes your engine hum, like by all means. But your why is way different.
It's a little bit different.
So I don't want to spoil anything. So like, why? What's your why? Why real estate?
That's an interesting question. I grew up in a household full of real estate agents, and my sister's also one in the Woodlands, Wendy Adams, class of 92, and my mom and dad are both, well, my dad, let me start over. Okay. My mom was a real estate agent when I was growing up. She's class of 70, and my dad is an agent in Colorado Springs. So I kind of grew up in the industry, and then, but I didn't start as a real estate agent in my first career. My first real true career is when we started our nonprofit 10 years ago. So
that was 2012, was it?
2012,
you co-founded it, correct?
Yes, co-founded it with my husband, and we have two other co-founders in the Carolinas. But I wanted a different way to raise awareness with our nonprofit, and so I thought real estate was a great approach because I love working with people, I love Aggieland, and it is a super way to connect with people, tell my story, talk about what we do in South Asia, and also help people.
Well, you also better love people in Katy and Fulshire at least for a couple more months.
Yes.
Well, and I love how that's a whole different story about how she's expanded the footprint of Bock Realty Group. It's fantastic for us for a myriad of reasons. But so in 2012, you co-founded, like you said, you and your husband and a couple of people you said are on the East Coast.
Yes.
Were they here with you, or did you know them through different channels?
We used to live in Greenville, South Carolina, and
I know where Greenville is.
Our communications director, David Miller, is in Greenville, South Carolina, and then our communications director and co-founders, Audrey Levitro, is in the Denver, North Carolina area. So we all worked together in Greenville for a period of years, and then we had the opportunity to come back to the Houston area back in 2019. So my husband and I moved back to Texas, praise the Lord, and our other colleagues stayed in the Carolinas. So
okay.
we do things remote.
And so just kind of joined together, you founded the Child Freedom Coalition. Now go and tell us a little bit about kind of what that does. I mean, what's the main mission of the Child Freedom Coalition?
Well, we're doing our best to end child trafficking in South Asia. And that's probably the last place that we ever intended to go, but my husband was offered the chance to go to South Asia in 2019, kind of as a consultant. He went over there, saw the plight of kids in different types of trafficking and slavery. And when he came back here, he left the mortgage business, decided this is what we need to do full time, and we just kind of took off from there. So we've been raising awareness. The funding arm for the work that's done in South Asia, we're not rescuing children, but our colleagues in South Asia do the work.
And y'all make a trip over there, is it annually? Do you try and get over there at least once a year, or is it more than once a year?
I go probably once a year, but my husband typically goes 3 to 4 times a year. So he's been 30 times over to the work over there. And so we've helped support thousands of children being rescued, which it's a dark area in that part of the world, but it's the same place where we want to go back the quickest. South Asia probably has the most children enslaved in the world. So the kids are in rock quarries and brick kilns, brothels. It's really difficult, but our partners over there find a way to get them out of slavery. And the first order of business is trying to reunite them with their families if it's safe. And if not, then they're in our care. So we have a children's home that we built that house over 1,200 kids right now full time.
Oh, wow. And now, how long did that take for y'all were you able to build in sections so as soon as part of it was done, you could house kids, or was it just a massive undertaking?
It really was a massive undertaking. We raised the support for the land first, and that was back in 2013. And then we joined partnership with a general contractor in South Asia and created a over 200,000 square foot children's home. And so we weren't able to put the children in there until we got the occupancy permit from the city, and it took a while, but we house now over 1,200 full time.
Wow, that's fantastic. Always red tape. Had to wait on an occupancy.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. But
that's frustrating.
The key here is we're not doing adoptions because we're not a legal adoption agency. But what the goal is of our partner in South Asia is to educate, give them education for the first time in their life, and then when they're age appropriate, give them vocational training so they can become future leaders in their community.
That's fantastic. And now there's a division of the Child Freedom Coalition called More Than a Home. Mm-hmm. And I know this is also tying back into your job as well.
Right.
And so tell me a little bit about More Than a Home, and just tell me all about it.
Well, it is kind of hard at times because I get pulled in both directions, but I wanted a way to blend the two passions that I have, which is combating human trafficking and then my love for real estate. And so I created a division of Child Freedom Coalition called More Than a Home, and it's a way where different professionals in the home buying process can join together collectively to do what they can to help combat trafficking. So realtors, attorneys, builders, designers, anyone entitled,
vendors, everybody,
anyone that's a vendor can join the initiative and commit whatever they want to of their proceeds. There's no mandatory amount. Mm. And then it allows their clients to know that the partnership between the two of them is helping these kids in South Asia. So it kind of pats them on the back a little bit, but it also does a huge good.
Yeah, but it does some good. Yeah, it's not just, no, absolutely. And so I know that, that's a big part of your real estate. Mm-hmm. Property's a big part of your real estate. That's a big part of your real estate business.
Right.
Is being able to tie those two together. So to an extent, you've created, and I'll make sure that when this gets uploaded, we'll put links and everything for this stuff. So if you are interested in being a part of this, obviously, you can click, you can get in touch with them. If you have to, or if you need to, I'm sure you can ask questions through the website. I'm sure you have a website. So we're going to put all that info in the description. It'll be like, I've always wanted to do this. It'll be right below. Okay, yeah, sweet. Always want to do that. But which you would think I would have done at this point. It is kind of my show, but here we are. So yeah, we'll put out all that information, and I think it's so special that it allows you to continue your professional career, you know, and tie that all together. And we know, you and I know as well as anybody, how many people are involved in a home buying process.
Yeah.
And our list of vendors is like scroll. So again, if you're interested in that, please, by all means, click on the links we've provided, because that's, you know, if you want to get your business involved, or if you just want to private, you take private donations as well, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So if you personally, you know, if you don't own a business, but if you want to get involved, you know, click on the links, and we'll make sure that you have access for all the information and everything, anything we didn't get out, because I know that you could probably sit here and talk about this for 2 hours. So I'm sure there's a ton of information that we maybe didn't get to, but you'll be able to do all your research, you know, on your end. So that's why Marcy is so special, and why she is a super special member of our team, and that's why we love having her around. But we don't always have her around because she doesn't live here. But yet you're moving to Aggieland, correct?
We are.
When are you coming up?
6 weeks. So the end of October, we're going to be heading this way.
Not that you're counting the days or anything.
The drive is tough, but I look forward to being here with our Bock Realty Group family and so many friends that we have, and being my mom's sidekick to all the Aggie sports.
It's always nice to be closer to A&M, right?
For sure.
So you're class of 95. My sister's class of 95. She did accounting back when there was no PPA program. It was like 4 years, get your degree, kick you out, and be like, good luck, homie. So, but you were here about the same time when I was coming up to games and then coming to visit my sister. I want your most special Aggie memory that doesn't involve a game or a sport. Like if you can remember your favorite memory of being a student, and it can't be graduation and getting your ring. You can't do the generics. You got your ring. I know you walked. You know, and best Aggie football game ever. So outside of that, was there something academically, or was there like a mentor that was important to you, like one of your professors? Like what's really your kind of fondest memory of your time as a student in Aggieland? I know, I always stump people on this.
I'm going to have to like blot myself. Sorry, you're going to have to pause that. Menopause.
I'm leaving that in.
I was going to say, just keep rolling.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, you're doing great.
Yeah, it's warm in here.
It doesn't have to include bars, because that's probably the majority of my memories.
Ooh.
That's not part of the video.
Yeah.
I'm getting Northgate. I'm getting.
Well, and so I'll give you an example. So my sister, and maybe this is like one of my favorite memories of my sister's time at A&M, but not hers. So sorry, I'm not speaking for you, Susanna. But one of my favorite memories of my sister being a student was that, and I didn't know, and you were here when Hornbacks was here. So all of you people that don't know what Hornbacks was, totally missing out. One of the greatest pool halls in the history of mankind. They also used to have a bowling alley and pool tables down in the MSC as well. Things have changed, just moderately,
Just a little bit.
Which is weird because we're Aggies and we fear change. But she ended up winning, like I was saying, Class B intramural pool. I didn't know my sister was even good at pool. I didn't know she played pool. And then she shows up at home and she's got like this T-shirt because she won Class B intramurals shooting pool. And if you know my sister's totally groovy, but at the time being in a pool hall and shooting pool is not where I would have put my sister on a regular basis. So like, you know, something weird like that even. You know, so fire away whatever kind of even if it's a quirky memory. And we'll stay away from having beers at the chicken because every single Aggie has beers in the chicken. So, you know, it's another gimme.
Ring duck? Yeah, no. I have fond memories of being a student worker in the athletic department.
Oh.
So I was in the women's athletic department with my really good girlfriend, Nicole David Coomer, who we were colleagues, and we had the best time. And so we were always the ones that set up for women's events for the coaches, and we did get asked one super regionals to head up the hospitality area for all the baseball coaches, for all the different coaches that came in town for the super regional. So that was a lot of fun. We got to meet a lot of people. But yeah, the student worker aspect was a lot of fun because you're right there on campus. You had to show up to work every day at 8 o'clock on campus, and you were able to just walk to your class and then come back to work. So that was really super cool. And then I was also an Aggie hostess for football. So that was really fun too, because
Okay.
you got to meet a lot of the recruits and their families and kind of show them around campus. But yeah, I have a lot of memories in the athletic realm.
Yeah.
When I was in school.
Well, in your time at A&M, we weren't terrible at sports either, so it's always
it was good.
Yeah, it's always enjoyable to work with athletics when everybody's in a better mood, I would think.
Yeah, for sure.
What was your dorm?
I did not live on campus.
You didn't live on campus. Okay. Hey, my daughter didn't get on campus. She didn't get on campus. She tried. She couldn't get a dorm. So
It's a good idea to live on campus,
she
but I
still
did not
wants
go.
to. Yeah, she wants to. I think she kind of still wants to her sophomore year,
Good.
just to get like the full experience. Currently, she's just living in the house because we were waiting and waiting and waiting on a decision, and then oh yeah, by the way, you're not getting a
late.
dorm, and it's too late to rent. And my daughter, she's like, well, I'm just going to rent. I think I told this story on this show. She had a friend that has a house in my neighborhood. She goes, hey, I can rent it for $450 a month if you'll pay half. I'm like, I'm not paying half of $450 for you to live 3 blocks over. That's not how any of this works. But you know as well because you're a mom. So, and I know that your son just graduated or is graduating.
He just graduated from Fulshire High, and he's in
Okay.
College Station doing the blend route right now.
Okay, so he's on blend team. And then you have 2 kids, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Where's the other one at?
Lauren's 23, and she's in College Station right now.
She's here. So really, you're the outlier.
Yes, I'm coming home to my kids and to my parents.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, and again, that's one of the reasons I do this show, and, and you're a perfect shining example of it, is the people in the Brazos Valley are fantastic. And Aggies, it does feel like home when you're here, and it feels like home when you get to move back. I remember that was a big thing for me when I switched to reserve to come to school. It wasn't just coming home to Texas. It was, it was like coming home. Because I was actually born here, so I'm a Bryan baby.
Really?
Yeah. My dad had switched from active to reserves to come back to get another degree because he was class 66, and then he came back. And so I'm a St. Joe's baby. I was born in the building that I think now is the psych ward, so like I feel like that kind of checks out. But then, the summer I turned 1, they literally moved down to Spring. So I grew up a Houston baby. Well, northwest side of Houston. But
Okay.
That's coming back to College Station is just a little bit different than just coming back to Texas.
It really does feel like I'm coming home. When you drive into College Station and you're part of not just the campus and the school, but just the people, everyone's so kind. And I know working with Bock Realty Group, we are truly a family in our brokerage, so I love working here. I just have not been here as much as I'd like, but pretty soon.
Now you're not going to be able to get away.
Right.
See, part of me would be like, if I stay in Katy, at least keep my mailing address there and fake the funk. I can miss a couple of meetings if you're in there. But no, just kidding. So, and obviously we love having you on the team. This is a question, and this might be a touch personal, because this is another one of those like, what's your why kind of thing. But we're going to gush over our employer for a second because we can. But knowing that you had all this experience, and I remember almost maybe when I first met you, you talked about your dad being an agent out in Colorado Springs. What was it that drew you to Megan and Gabe? Like, we can just brag on the company a little bit.
Right. I kind of watched from afar for a while. I still do work in Houston, and I help with Bock Realty Group in the Houston area as well. But I knew I was going to be coming to College Station, and I was just kind of watching different agencies, and I really liked the aspect of the family orientation as well as the servant-driven nature of Megan and Gabe. And so I thought, I'm just going to set up a meeting with them and see how it goes, and it was a great fit.
It's kind of how, well, I didn't necessarily do a ton of scouting like you did, but I just kind of requested a meeting.
Yeah.
It was kind of random. But I knew that if I was going to be in this industry, it was going to be working for Megan. Like, it wasn't, I was going into real estate wherever I land. It was because of Megan and Gabe why I got into real estate. Just because, the relationships and their attitude and just the wonderful people that they are. It's easy to work there. It's easy to work there. And I love, for me, just kind of where I'm at, because I'd be an empty nester, but she didn't get a dorm. But I'm still kind of in that empty nester kind of lifestyle now, with having to worry about anything with a kid really, other than that her tuition gets paid.
That's hard enough.
I got lucky. I didn't touch my Hazelwood Act, so she's going to A&M for free.
Wow.
Well, tuition. College kids, there's nothing free about it.
Right.
But yeah, it's for me, a lot of it's the autonomy as well. The ability to be a professional, but not have to. I'm not a 9 to 5, put on a coat and tie kind of guy. I like punch a clock. I don't like working to time, not to task. I prefer you work to task, not to time, kind of thing. And
can you say that again?
Yeah, I know, right? Thank you. I think I got it right. And you get so much of that you kind of get pounded into you in the Army is we're going to be here till 5 o'clock. And you're like, well, but we're done, and it's 2 o'clock. And you're like, well, find something to do. That just drives me batty. Because real estate is one of those businesses where industries where it might be 3 o'clock on a Tuesday, and to be honest, there might be a couple more things you can do, but you don't have to work till 5 o'clock because there's going to be days where you're working till 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night. Sometimes even 10 o'clock, depending on where your clients are, time zone wise.
Yeah, and weekends are pretty.
Yeah, and you're working weekends, as it is. So I really appreciate the autonomy and the fact that I came in obviously, wet behind the ears and new to the industry, but also kind of a grown man, and I've appreciated how that relationship has been with me. I'm not coming in as a 21-year-old, just got out of school, just got my license, new to the working world kind of thing. So I appreciated that, and then I love working for him. I love working with him. That's what I tell everybody. This is my forever job. So, all right, I got one more question. Because I ask all my guests this: do you cook, or do you barbecue, or do you leave that? Are you do it on the grill and the smoker?
No, David does the grilling. He doesn't smoke.
Okay.
He doesn't smoke meat. He does a lot of grilling, and I help with the sides.
Okay, so generally what I ask everybody is their go-to rib recipe, but you'd be amazed how few people that I've brought on actually do ribs. Every single person, they're like, I don't know, I just buy them. They're like, I don't know. So I'll ask the follow-up question then. Y'all are having a barbecue at the house, and you're having like a big time for dignitary, somebody's like coming over, or you're trying to impress somebody, or maybe have like a fundraiser. So he's doing all the grill. He'll do all the ribs. What is your absolute go-to killer side that you always bring? Like if just to knock somebody's pants off. Like what's your go-to side? You don't have to give us the whole recipe because if it's a secret, this is like your back pocket thing. But what do you love to cook? Like everybody goes, is there any more?
Typically with ribs, and they're Mr. Doug's ribs, my dad's ribs. My mom has taught me that it's always best to bring what's called an Asian coleslaw. So it's typical cabbage coleslaw, and then you get the ramen noodles, and I know, just bear with me.
You're recording this, right? I'm going to need this.
You crunch up the ramen noodles, and that's the crunch in the salad. And then you toast some sesame seeds, and then you make this vinaigrette with the ramen mix. It's so good, I promise you.
This sounds amazing.
It's really good.
This also sounds like something my daughter would have come up with because she loves coleslaw, and I think the child is half made of ramen at this point. That sounds amazing, by the way.
It's good. I'll let you know what the recipe is.
Yeah. So back when I used to do this for a living, our slaw was actually an oil and vinegar base as well. I'm not big on the mayonnaise. So I'm kind of team no mayo. But,
no mayonnaise on sandwiches or anything.
So, all right. If there's anything else, I think you have a gala coming up, or if you got any specific events coming up, in the next month or two that you want to pump up, I'm gonna give you about 15 to 30 seconds. You can look square in that camera and let everybody know what, where, how they can get involved, and fire away. This is your time.
Okay. We are having our first ever Texas Gala in Sugar Land, Texas for Child Freedom Coalition. It's going to be on October 10th at Sugar Creek Country Club, and it's going to be an amazing time. We're raising awareness for over 200 kids that are ready to go into vocational training in South Asia, and we'd love for you to come.
That's awesome. And that's on your website too?
Yes.
Okay. And again, like I said, website will be embedded, so you guys can click on that if you're interested in the gala, excuse me, at all. So, Marcy, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. My wonderful teammate, and because of meeting her through the team, my friend as well.
Yes, absolutely.
And so thank you for coming by. Thank you for that coleslaw recipe. Are you kidding me? My daughter, literally, she may never make coleslaw a different way again after I tell her this. And then thank you for sharing so much about the Child Freedom Coalition, and then the more than a home division of it. So that's all for today's episode. Again, coming to you from Cooper's Old Time Pit Barbecue in Aggieland. Thank y'all so much for stopping by. Thank you, Marcy, and we will see y'all next time.
Thank you.